everyone. Let's hear it once again for our youth. Thank you so much for your very thought-provoking talk. I don't know about you guys, that certainly creeped me out a little. All right, so our third speaker before intermission is going to be Tanya Vijayakumar, who is a freshman here at Green Level who believes that stress can actually be a positive thing, something that can be utilized to your advantage if you know how to use it in the right way. So let's hear it up for Tanya.
Hey, my name is Tanya, and I want to ask you all something. Procrastination. I'm sure it's a term you've all heard of before. As defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, procrastination is the intentionally putting off of something that should be done. How many of you procrastinate? Look at that. You guys are all terrible. No, I'm kidding. I'm a huge procrastinator myself, and I can tell you that it's a horrible thing, really. We do it not because we want to. Obviously, we know it's bad. But we do it simply because we don't have the time to. Or, let's admit it, we just don't feel like doing something. But do you know what procrastination is a huge source of? Stress. Stress is the strain on the human body, whether that be physically, mentally, or emotionally. Stress can be caused by a variety of things. For example, procrastination, as I mentioned before. It can be caused by some sort of upcoming event, such as something where you have to speak to a large audience. I'm stressed right now, standing here on the stage in front of you all. Although we all experience stress on a daily basis at times where you may not even notice it, some people experience such enormous amounts of stress that it drives them to do bad things. This type of stress can mainly affect those in high school and college. Why? Because they undergo a lot of pressure, not just from schoolwork and teachers, but also from friends and family. Pressure from trying to do things right, from trying to achieve more than one can handle. Stress can really hurt us if we don't know what to do about it. Did you know that teens in the US have rated their stress levels a 5.8 out of 10? It may not sound like a lot at first, but adults in the US have rated their stress levels a 3.8 out of 10. That is a whole 2 points higher. And it's odd, isn't it? Adults who experience the full roller coaster that life is have lower stress levels than students just trying to pass school and get into college. It's crazy to think that so many people around us could be overburdened by stress and we wouldn't even know it. From what I mentioned now, that little stress statistic, I bet you're thinking, wow, stress can really affect a lot of people in horrible ways. And you're right, it can, and it does. But stress, it isn't always a negative thing. Did you know that little bits of stress can actually be used to motivate yourself? It can be used as a sort of tool, or rather, a weapon against life. That creeping feeling of anxiousness or nervousness you get. It can be a good way of getting up and doing whatever it is that's causing that feeling. But we shouldn't overestimate our abilities. Eckhart Tolle, a German teacher and self-help author, once said, "Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there." We take on more things than we can handle simply because we want to achieve more, or we want to succeed in life. But in reality, we should take things slower. We should spread out our work rather than do it all at once. This also means that we shouldn't postpone it for later. I actually made this very mistake only around about a year ago, when I was in 8th grade. You see, I was in virtual learning, and 8th grade was possibly one of the hardest years of my school life because of how less my interaction with other students and teachers was. In particular, my math and Spanish teacher. They had no live classes, and by that I mean no Zoom meetings, no Google Meets, nothing. They would just assign us our work, maybe give us some notes on how to do it, and we'd have to do it. If we had any questions about it, we'd have to email them, and that was it. Now, as you can imagine, with the amount of freedom that I was given, I started to get a little bit behind on my work. You see, I was in the mindset of, oh, I missed this assignment. Well, that's okay, I'll just do it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow eventually turned into the day after that, and the day after that, until eventually weeks after an assignment was due. Now, during the very first quarter of 8th grade, I didn't do most of my math assignments, and I honestly cannot tell you why I did it. I think I just wanted to have more fun in life. I wanted to go watch videos, I wanted to go play games, I wanted to go out with my friends. I didn't want to sit in my room and do work all day, even though if I probably did my work on time, it wouldn't even take that long. Before I knew it was the end of the quarter and I hadn't done 90% of my math assignments. Now at this point, I will admit, it weighed heavy on my mind. I would go to bed at night worried about what I would do the next day. Will I postpone my math homework again? Will I wait until the last minute? Fortunately though, my parents did find out and I got into a lot of trouble, to say the least. I sat down and finished all of my assignments just so I'd have a grade for that quarter in math. I have never made a mistake again, and I hope I never will. But from time to time, I think about how I never should have made that mistake in the first place. I should have realized what I was doing and used that sick feeling that I got as a way to stop my severe procrastination. So, my main message? Stop stressing so much. And I bet you're thinking, it's not as easy as it sounds, which you're right, it's not. Stress is kind of like habits. It's super hard to break them, super hard to stop them, no matter how small they may seem. So try and break down the main sources of your stress and break them out into small pieces, easier things for you to handle. For example, try and get a good night's sleep most nights. I know sometimes maybe your work drags on in the night and you want to stay on your phone just a little bit longer to watch one more video. You should really cut off your screen time at that point, because that little blue light emitting from your device screen, it makes it harder for you to fall asleep and wake up in the morning. Another thing could be to just talk to your loved ones. It can be your friends, your family, your significant other, or just someone who you really trust. And if it seems like they just won't listen or understand, then make them listen. Make them understand, because we all need someone to help us get through the downs in life. But let's say you don't have a problem with any of that. Let's say maybe you have problems sitting down and doing your work on time. You get too sidetracked by your phone, or get the urge to get up and go somewhere else. I want to suggest a certain method for that. It's called the Pomodoro method. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. It's where you sit down for 25 minutes and you do your work or you study or whatever it is you need to do. And then after that 25 minutes is up, you get up and take a break for 5 minutes. Now during this 5 minutes, you can go and take a brisk walk, you can get a sip of water, maybe get a snack, check your phone, whatever it is you want to do. But after that interval is over, you sit back down and you do your work for another 25 minutes. Now after 4 rounds of this, if you're still doing your work by that time, then the next time your break comes, you get up and you take a break for 15 to 30 minutes. You see, this repetition of doing your work and taking a break and doing your work and taking a break, it helps keep your mind focused, that you don't have the urgency to get up and check your phone or whatever it is you want to do. Another thing to get those stressful thoughts out of your mind could be, I'm going to be straight with this, get a pet. Just get a pet. Have you ever heard of an emotional support animal? If not, they exist. If you find it difficult to talk to your loved ones about your struggles and troubles, why not talk to an animal who won't understand you at all? But in exchange, they'll give you loads of unconditional love. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. I have a dog. Her name is Nova, and she's very supportive. I love having her with me, and sure, maybe all she does is roll around asking me to pet her, but she gives me a sort of sense of reassurance that someone is there for me, even if she is an animal. But you don't have to do any of these methods. You should try and find something that helps you deal with your stress. Try different things out, but always remember, don't try to take things on all at once, and definitely don't leave them for last minute like I did. And always remember to ask your loved ones for help when you need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya, for sharing your very insightful ways to manage stress, and I'm sure that we can all relate to this on some level, and there's definitely a lot to take away from her phenomenal speech. So now, this concludes the first half of our program, and so we're now going to be taking a 20-minute break. What I want you guys to do is just stay within the auditorium because there is some testing going on outside, but feel free to talk to the people around you. As I mentioned, a really important part of TED is having those meaningful conversations. And so, go and meet our fellow speakers, go and meet your attendees, talk to people. And of course, if you need to use the bathroom or anything, you're more than welcome to do that. Just keep it down and just stay within the auditorium. All right, and we're gonna be starting back promptly at 11 a.m. So please make sure to be seated and everything by 11. Thank you all.